What's up, AfterBuzzers? We've got sister drama, helicopters, and cliff diving coming up.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? I am Tiffany Toney, and if you are joining us for the first time this week, welcome. If you've been here before, you know we are talking about The Amazing Race, Season 31. This was episode 7, and Living Fearlessly is totally the best title that they could have given this. And I just want to say that so this episode takes place in Switzerland. I've lived in Switzerland before, and all of the challenges that they had the cast doing to you or to someone that's never been to Switzerland, it might seem like they were extreme, but I just want to let you guys know that the Swiss people, they do this stuff every day. They're born with skis in their hands and jumping off cliffs and diving into rivers and lakes, and they're just very adventurous people. So to us Americans, it seemed like that they were doing some really extreme challenges, but to the Swiss, they do this stuff in their sleep. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I just thought you should know, okay? So we're just gonna jump right in, and I wanna start with my new favorite duo, Tyler and Korey. I know I talk about them every week, and I really love them, you guys. I love watching them. They're having a lot of fun, and they are actually doing really well as we get deeper and deeper into this show. I would love for you guys to join in the live chat and give me your feedback, because at a certain point in the show, I am actually going to be name dropping and talking to you guys and incorporating you in the show. I love having your comments. It really makes what I do fun. So Tyler and Korey, they did a really amazing job throughout the competition. They made it look really easy, actually, and I thought they had a lot of fun. My favorite part of this episode was when they were lusting after Sebastian. Did anybody else see Sebastian? The guy that was helping them down the mountain? I didn't think he was that cute, but hey, he's somebody's type, I'm sure. Apparently he was Tyler's type. So that was honestly, I think that was my favorite part of the show. Anyway, we had the Reilly Sisters. They got into some little drama, and we'll talk about that later. But more importantly, who did Rachel's lashes all the way in Switzerland? I mean, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but these two girls always look like they are just like fresh out of the makeup chair, while everybody else is looking rough and like struggling through these challenges. I found that entertaining. We got Chris and Brett, who I am always surprised are still around. They made it again. They're still here. And I was surprised that they were actually able to face some of the challenges that were on the show last night. I was extremely intimidated, and I was just watching from home, so I can only imagine how they felt. Chris and Brett, I know I complain about them every week, but they are growing on me. I don't know how they've made it this far into the show, but hey, they're still here and they're still fighting for that $1 million. And as you have seen, as we have all seen, the show changes from week to week. You know, momentum is one thing, but it's a completely different thing when you've got to fly 12, 13 hours to different cities across the world. What does momentum really mean in that case? We had Victor and Nicole, and I was really proud of Nicole, I must say, for facing her fear of heights. They left us with a little cliffhanger before going to the commercial break, where we thought that Nicole was actually going to back out and that she wasn't going to jump off. But I was really proud of her. To be honest with you, I don't know if I could have done it, but she stayed focused, and I know that Victor was really, really, really pulling for her, and I think he would have been a little pissed if she didn't do it. Let's be real. But I was really proud of her. She did a great job in almost all of the challenges that she had to do. Heights were incorporated, and she faced her fear of heights. And I think that that's going to give them a little bit of momentum going into the next leg. I'd never seen Nicole run so fast as she did when she was running across that bridge. You guys, I just would love to know what you think about Nicole and her conquering her fear of heights. And what are some of your phobias? I'm interested to know, you guys watching the show, what are some of your phobias, and what's the one thing that you don't think you'd be able to overcome, even if there was $1 million at stake? For me, I think it would be like laying in a bed of spiders or something. I don't know if they would ever have somebody do that on a show like this, but just in case anybody's watching that's thinking about casting me for a show like that, let's just leave that out of the cards, okay? Next, we've got Colin and Christy. You know, I know that every week I talk about how proud I am of Colin and how he's done this complete transformation and how meditation has completely changed his life and changed his relationship and how I'm so happy for him. But I mean, come on, Colin. This circle that he tried to do, the energy circle, I think that maybe he should have just waited maybe like 5 more minutes before trying to get everyone to hold hands after the little disagreement that was had on the train, which I know you guys are dying to get into. I will talk about that. Don't worry. Just wait for it. All right. We had Becket and Floyd. And you guys, I don't know if it just slipped my mind that Becca is actually a rock climbing instructor. I do vaguely remember that being mentioned before earlier on, but I mean, she jumped down and around and all over those mountains like a champ, and I just really enjoy watching her. I think that she embodies women's empowerment, and she's just a really active, athletic girl. I think that her and Floyd have a really great chance at winning this, partly because they don't really let too many things get to them. I don't think I've really seen them argue much or really stress out too much, even in the most tense situations. So watching them, I think it's really inspiring and they're really fun to watch. I do think that they are a threat. I don't know if a lot of people realize that they're a threat yet, but they definitely are. Despite their cool, calm, and collected demeanor, I really see them as a threat. Leo and Jamal, you guys, what is happening? The Afghanimals are not themselves lately. I mean, they started out this season completely dominating. But as I mentioned earlier, momentum is really not a thing in this sort of show. I mean, you're getting on a plane, you're flying 12 hours, sometimes overnight, sometimes, you've got a 24-hour flight. If you include a layover, we don't know how long their layovers are or, how these time zones are affecting them. So momentum is not really a thing that's relevant, I think, from episode to episode. I think when you have momentum in one leg, then that can carry on through the end of the leg. But I don't know if it carries on from episode to episode. What do you guys think? I would like to know your thoughts. Of course, none of us have ever been on The Amazing Race, so we don't know for sure. All we can do is speculate, but I enjoy hearing your speculations. So I thought that these challenges, I was actually reading some of the other reviews online because I'm always curious to hear what the fans think. And a lot of people were a little upset and they felt like some of these challenges on this episode were very linear and that there was a lot of waiting around and they didn't really enjoy the momentum. But for me, I thought that this show was great. I really liked this episode. I thought the challenges were actual challenges. I mean, there's sometimes when the challenges are just kind of like luck of the draw. For example, there was an earlier episode this season where they had to bite a shoe and figure out which one was chocolate. And honestly, I think that doesn't really take much skill. It's just more about luck and guessing right. And last night, the challenges that they had to complete, I really felt that, it took a lot of willpower, it took a lot of determination, a lot of focus, and they had to actually pay attention and memorize words in German that were very foreign to them. Now, for those of you that have never been to Switzerland or don't know a lot about the culture, they actually speak 3 languages there. German, which is actually a dialect of Swiss German, but they speak German, they speak Italian, they speak French, they speak English. So it really just depends on what part of Switzerland you're in and what country actually borders that area in Switzerland. So again, for people who may only speak a little English and a little Spanish, most Americans don't speak many languages as they do in Europe. That had to be very difficult for them to remember these lengthy words in a different language that was totally foreign to them. So I thought, even though the puzzle, them riding up the little ramp in the train, a lot of people may have thought that was boring, but I actually had a lot of respect for the 2 teams that did choose that challenge because it did require a lot of focus throughout the game. So before we move on, I just want to shout out the live chatters. I almost said love chatters, but I want to shout out the live chatters. Hi, Cassidy. How are you doing? Cassidy Love 78 says, "Hey, girl, I miss you." And I think that's sweet. And she says that she thought the skydiving looked like a really good time and that it was next level. And she thought this episode wasn't too competitive. And she feels that it was an episode more for the castmates to enjoy their time. you know what? That's a very interesting perspective. And that could be true. It could be true that this episode was for them to enjoy their time. I'm sure that sometimes, these cast members need a break. This traveling and competing and running on, I don't know what they're getting for food, but running on fumes and just eating as you go and constantly being in the state of mind of race. I'm sure it probably makes it difficult for them to have genuine interactions and to really enjoy their time in these beautiful places because they're just so focused on winning. Hi, who is this? We've got Andocele. Is that how I pronounce it? I completely butchered that, I'm sure, but he says, hurry up. So I guess you were anxious for us to get started. I appreciate that you were anxious, and here we are. So before we move forward, I just want to give you guys a little gift. It's a gift that I give you every week. And no, it's not some amazing lip gloss or a free trip or anything like that. But it is a thank you. I just want to let you guys know how much we appreciate your support, how much we appreciate you tuning in every week, watching us, making us the ESPN of Talk TV. For us to continue to grow, we need your help. And it's very simple. All you got to do is if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on iTunes, just leave us that 5 stars. No matter where you are, feel free to comment. You can send us DMs on Instagram and social media. We appreciate all your comments and we do read them. So thank you so much for your contribution. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant a lot to me, and I just really appreciate the support. And please, please, please tell your friends, have them join in, support, subscribe, and then that way you guys have something to talk about when you're not here on the live chat with me. Okay? So now we are going to move on to something that I know you guys have all been waiting for. It is our news and gossip. So we've got some juicy news and gossip, which actually, if you watched the show, it's probably not it's not something that you didn't realize that happened. Okay, we had the Reilly sisters. They got into it again with Nicole and Victor initially. And, you guys, I don't know what's up with the Reilly sisters, but it just seems that they really do rub people the wrong way. Do you guys even know what this argument was really about? I mean, it started that they were trying to kind of like rat out Becket and Floyd and say that they were planning to use a U-turn. But in reality, nobody knows if they were actually planning to use the U-turn or not. Was it sabotage? Was it real? Was it true? Did they really overhear this? What do you guys think? All right. The Afghanimals agreed that they do not mess around with the Reilly sisters. And I think that a lot of people are just done with them and don't really want to have any alliances or relationships with them. We'll see how long these relationships and alliances actually last, but they definitely made themselves look bad last night. Definitely would like to know what you guys thought about that. We do also have a special segment for you guys that we did last week, or actually the week before last, and it's called Feeling Foreign. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to learn a few Swiss German sayings with me. So if you are ready, I would like to do that with you. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Okay. So we're gonna say something that that a lot of the castmates probably didn't say last night or probably wouldn't have said because they were so stressed out. So we're gonna start with the phrase I love you. Does anybody know how to say I love you in German? Well, it is pronounced Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich. I want you to try it at home, and I want you to record it and send it to my DMs so we can practice together, so that when we plan that trip to Switzerland, we can all make sure that we tell the appropriate people, including the people, making our food and the people opening the doors, that we love them and maybe each other. Okay? So the next one is I'm afraid of heights. I felt like this was the most appropriate thing that we could learn to say, because I think it could have been really useful for Nicole. Now, this one isn't going to be, my pronunciation on this one isn't as good as the last one, okay? Because I knew the last one before. But I am afraid of heights is Ich habe Angst, wenn hohen. Ich habe Angst, wenn hohen. And I think it literally means I have an angst with heights That's what it sounds like to me. I have an angst. I have a problem with heights. So maybe that'll help you guys remember. And we've got one more that I want you guys to try. Okay, I hope that you are actually doing this. Don't make me do it by myself. Okay, if you're watching, I would hope that you are actually practicing and learning these words as well. It's time for us to culture ourselves. Okay, so we've got one more, and it's very simple. It's the word jump. Springen. Springen. Ich liebe springen. I love to jump. I think that's what I said. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for participating in that. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. So I want to do one more thing because I know you guys are dying to know, or maybe you're not dying to know, what my predictions are for the future of the cast of The Amazing Race.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions. So I am dying to know your predictions because, again, I love hearing your feedback. I love reading your comments. My predictions, I know that I was like totally Team Afghanimals, Leo and Jamal for like the first 3 to 4 episodes of this. And y'all know I loved me some Janelle, but unfortunately she is no longer relevant. So let's see. Who do I think will get eliminated? Let's start with that. Who do I think will get eliminated? Because as we know, this round, nobody was eliminated, which I found very strange. Anyway, like I said, every week I say this, I'm still surprised that Chris and Brett are here. And as much as I would like to think that they would be eliminated, they just keep slipping through the cracks. So I am actually going to go with the Reilly sisters. I think their time is coming. Their time is actually long overdue. And I don't know how much longer they are going to make it in this competition, just because everyone is fed up with them. Nobody wants to work with them. Everyone's extremely frustrated with them. And I think that that energy is a little bit heavy to move around with. So I'm going to guess that they are going to be eliminated. As far as who I think is going to win, I think that it's going to be either Becket and Floyd or Tyler and Korey. I think between those two teams, they're a threat. And, you know, honestly, I think Victor and Nicole could surprise some people too. But my top two are Tyler and Korey and Becket and Floyd. And I would love to know what you guys think about that. Before we go, I just want to look into my live chat one more time. Hi, Duplicate. How are you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in again. She says, Elissa is okay, but Rachel is a witch. Democratic U-turn vote next week is going to bring the karma. You know what, Duplicate? I like your thinking, and I think that you have a point. I think you're right, and I'm really interested to see how next week is going to play out with the U-turn vote. I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, who knows? Who knows what could happen after the cameras go off? Maybe there'll be, maybe they'll make up in between now and then. But at this point, I don't think anybody trusts the Reilly sisters, so I'm going to have to agree with our live chatter Duplicate on that one. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another AfterBuzz show featuring The Amazing Race, Season 31. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, same time, same place. I am your host, Tiffany Toney, and you can find me on Instagram at Tiffany_Toney_. Have a great evening. Buzz you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.